Konekt.
Kupata information unataka.
Konekt.
Life ni journey pia ni process.
Konekt.
For every step una make, it brings a different outcome. It always comes together.
Everything in life is a process. Life is a journey. Believe in the process. Everything in life comes together. Life is a journey. Believe in the process. Inspiring, informing, and impacting. This is the Konekt.
I can't hear.
So guys, sorry guys, technical hitch there. Thank you. My directors just come back to me and told me I was actually on mute. Sorry guys, it's technology, but guys, amazing. Thank you for joining us tonight. That's what I was saying. Asanteni sana. So wherever you are, tell me down below if you're joined in from Melbourne, Australia, Kenya, anywhere. Let me know where you tuned in. Asanteni sana. Thank you, my director, for that. Sorry guys, when you're doing new things, trying new things, yeah, it comes with its own challenges. But thank you so much, the guys behind the scenes. Asanteni, continue giving me the feedback so that we make this thing a success tonight. So without further ado, guys, you already know the lady I'm actually bringing on. She's been with us before. She's such a wonderful lady. She's doing amazing things within the community. She's pushing the boundary. She's trying to help as many people as she can. So tonight we're joined by an amazing lady by the name Betty. And without further ado, people, just put your hands together as we introduce Betty tonight. And yes, Karibu Betty. Thank you so much, Betty, for joining us tonight. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. Betty, so this interview has been far much coming because I just wanted, people to know that things on the ground are, either they have changed or they're still the same. So because there's been a lot of silence and pandemic is still going on, but not so many people know what's going on. So with that, we actually came to with this idea, us as a Konekt community, just to understand what's going on in different sectors, different fields, just to help someone out there who maybe thinks that things are not happening or things are silent, especially on the immigration department. So, but Betty, tonight, I don't want to say much, but I want you just to introduce yourself and then, so that people can know you tonight, and then we're going to take it from there. Betty, over to you.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me here once again. I feel I'm part of the Konekt community now. because of the conversations that we've had with Pete since the last interview. Thank you for the supporters for the immense feedback that we got after the last conversations that we had on this channel. It's been a very overwhelming response, and thank you because you're consuming the content, and so that's why we are here once again. And as part of introduction, I've been here, but those who are watching for the first time, my name is Betty Langat. I'm the CEO of Largan Education Consultants. Mostly I'm in the nursing, managing nursing programs. And I also have a passion for immigration. So I work in the education sector, both in nursing industry and helping students and skilled people come from overseas to this beautiful country that I always say I arrived here 10 years ago and it's my new home. So I like to show people how to get here. So there we are. That is what I do. So I play into two industries in education and immigration and in health sometimes. You'll find me sometimes in healthcare.
Amazing,
So that's
amazing,
me.
Betty. And I'm sure with what is actually currently going on, Betty, you've seen uh, a few changes in the market. So I was just wondering, Betty, is there changes that you've actually identified or you've seen? Maybe we can start off tonight with the education sector because you're actually an education consultant. So maybe what are the changes that you've seen mainly in the educational sector? Is there any changes that you've seen, Betty?
Oh my God. Education sector was the most hit by this pandemic. Like back in 2019 in March when the pandemic started, it just education sector just went upside down. First of all, can you imagine we had to learn from home. We had to do everything from home. Can you imagine? Since we were born and brought up in this since we have been on this planet, we've never heard about doing homeschooling unless you were doing it by choice. Like it's not like it was mandatory. Like we lost it. So we had to convert everything into online learning platforms, and there was so we didn't know, we had not prepared all the content. Speaking from the education point of view, um, speaking from that point of view, we couldn't. All the content was we were all paper based, and we had the online learning platforms, but most of the people were using it just to store content, really, or to store documents, but not really as a mode of collaborative learning platform. So it was a big change, and therefore it affected a lot of international students. So speaking on that part, I was a student myself, and I was also an educator. So it was very hard to quickly jump on and prepare everything to deliver it online. And being a consumer of the same, also it was very hard as a student to study in isolation, to do assignments in isolation. Some of we learn as we interact with each other. So doing everything in isolation has just been the most difficult thing that you could ever do. Who knew we could get to this? Who knew you have to study in isolation and figure out, crack up a maths formula by yourself? So there's a lot of changes that have had to occur, that we have had to switch into virtual. Right, we all of us have to do blended learning, because we have to go we have to do after COVID, we're gonna be presented with options of virtual and face to face. So we're never gonna have like only we always gonna have two platforms, the virtual and the face to face. And so it look, there is good changes, and there is definitely we've had to take a big twist in terms of that, because um, there's options for everything else, but also there is some challenges that we've had to break through. But you know what, in every challenge there is always a good outcome. So it's been hard, and even for parents who have had to stay home schooling students, yeah, the young ones, it's really been hard. But look, there is always going to be something good that's going to come out of this at the end of it. So there's been changes in the immigration sector on the other side. Definitely people are not able, to travel. We've gone into lockdowns, limitations of movements. You can't you apart from not going to school, the borders closed. So being on the immigration side is it's it's challenging as well, because there are students who have been given visas and they are overseas and they can't come to Australia because Australia is not letting anybody in unless you are permanent resident or a citizen. So then you have the visa and then you are told to study online, and you are studying from another country. It is very hard because, look, learning is situated. It is just very hard learning about Australia and your wherever part of the country. I know we've been able to run some programs successfully, and other courses I've done it online fully, but it's not easy. So those are some of the challenges, just superficially touching on the most pressing ones.
Amazing. So the other question is, maybe because you're in touch with your maybe students or people who are coming, mostly because of you're in the immigration and also you're an education consultant. So
Yeah.
maybe tell us, how are people coping? Like, what are the things people are doing differently to manage maybe having to do online studies, having to maybe get a visa and you're still overseas, and maybe for someone, there's someone actually who told me that they actually got a visa and they're still overseas, so they're still studying overseas. So how are people coping, and how are students actually taking it, because it's a very different time and people are doing things differently? How are they coping, and are they coping, are they managing, and how are things on the ground, Betty?
Vitu hapa kwa ground ni tofauti, ni ngumu kabisa. So in reality, it's the visas are being granted. Student visas are still being granted. It's taking a longer time, but they're still being granted. Right from the when we started the pandemic, we had visas that were just granted just before the pandemic, and some of those students, they couldn't travel, and they've had to do, so some of them we switched, we deferred their courses, and then we deferred for 6 months, and then 6 months went and there was still no traveling. So then they had, some of them started to do online learning, because then everything had switched to online, and it was like, even if you're in Australia, you're going to be doing online anyway, so you need to switch online. So they did start their courses online. They did, some of them tried for a little bit, and then they did one unit, and then they struggle, and then they stop, and then we defer the course again. So basically, on that part, that is what I've been doing: defer the course, defer the course, and defer the course. Saying that, there are some visas that were just granted recently, and so, the education providers gave these, it was, so the education providers also want to stay afloat. That is the truth of the matter, that, education spins the economy in this country. All of us know that. And so they have been giving us offers, and trying to get the ball rolling. So they've given the opportunities for the students. The visas have been granted, and they want the student to study online and to do, at least one unit online. So Torrance University, to be specific, has been giving us a lot of those options. So we have students that have some that are doing that are doing online courses from overseas, for my students who are in Kenya. So I have students who are online and they're learning. Some couldn't, because it depends with the education providers as well. Some education providers provide support, and some students are able to continue. Some, they struggle, and then we've had to defer. So it's all mixed, and some students are able to access the internet and they are able to progress, and some cannot. So it's very personal, really, on an individual basis. So it just depends. Someone starts and they're like, no, I'm going to continue. Someone starts and they're like, oh, I didn't get this assignment. I didn't manage to understand what they were talking about in this lecture. There's some people can't understand the accent. And so we just defer. So we are busy deferring and deferring, and some are continuing. So that is what is going on. It's a lot of paperwork going back and forth, and some of them had the visas for 3 years. This is the second year going. You're gonna have to renew the visa before they even start. But that is what is happening. So it's a lot of
Wow.
paperwork, it's a lot of communication back and forth.
Yeah.
But that's what we are doing, and we are keeping and saying that the visas are still being granted.
And just another quick one, Betty. What about the students who are here already? They just came, and then we had the lockdown. What are the effects that that had to them, and how are they really coping? If maybe you might try and touch on that.
So look, I've come across few students who just landed before when the world lost its feet in 2020 March, and it was difficult just for anybody wherever you are. 2020 wasn't easy, but for students it was. If you've just arrived from a different country like Kenya, you're trying to move around here, you don't know how to go, you don't know where to find a job, you haven't found friends in school, you haven't known how the systems are going, everything has to be online, you're told to go and log in and go through these logins, and you're given numbers, you're calling the phone. It like people went through a very hard time, but they have a few months down the line, they really took a they were able to pick themselves up. Some had to defer as well, even though they were here. Some failed the units, to be very honest, and they had to redo the units again. um for those who communicated early, then it is very easy to get the support. But because when someone is coming and they are new, they get overwhelmed and they don't know what they're doing and they keep quiet, then you don't know, by the time they come, then the university has already taken actions. But for those who communicate and they keep in touch, and then we know that they are struggling, then we can communicate there and they get the reasonable adjustments from the educational providers. So everyone has been quite lenient, but then the communication has to be there. So those students went through hard time, but some they've had a very good they've had a good twist of taken the twist, and they have kind of settled. And mostly, normally, after you find friends, you can relate to some people, and that is now the community level. And that is where I say it's good to always keep in touch with the people who you can relate with, who you can, because that's where you can get help, other than when you're in isolation. So those who are in the community, able to get jobs, link them up to families, and be able to connect with other people through a friend, job wise, Zoom, and things like that. And that is how they have been able to manage. They are not doing bad so far. They
So
have
Betty,
thrived.
just a follow-up question especially with the students here and COVID and everything. And I wanted to ask on a very specific topic. It's a word that keeps on being thrown here and there, and I wanted to understand with everything going on, and how are they getting any help with mental health? Have you heard of any mental health help out there? And also, what pointers can you give someone out there who may be struggling a little bit to get a job, maybe to connect to the community, or maybe just struggling with getting by? So what advice can you give them tonight for them? How can they cope with these times, with the lockdowns that are going on, and just to be able to connect with the community, and to be able to at least move and leave? So Betty, maybe what can you advise someone tonight?
Look, here in Victoria, we are in lockdown 6-0. Like, it's it's not even funny. Like, I speak to people from New South Wales. Those who are watching from overseas, we're in different states, and different states have been governed by different premiers, and so the locations are so far apart. So, as in Victoria, we've been hit by COVID very many times, and it's not funny. As I said, we've been in these lockdowns like always from July. I say till November. We last year we were in lockdown, and this year we are following the same pattern and trend. Um, what I can say, the government has put in a lot of services, and a lot of has boosted a lot of campaign around mental health, because it's an area that has really been impacted by COVID. And not only when I say the students who like I made or who I bring across are mostly in tertiary and higher education, but mental health has been an issue even for the school going ages, even for the locals here. This is due to isolation, not being able to cope with friends, and adolescence. And during this time, there is a lot of hormonal gushes going on, and these children have really been affected by this isolation. Not to mention the home situations, the parental situations, all the dynamics that happen in the community. So the only thing that I can say is to seek help. Seek help. Speak to somebody. Keep in touch with at least friends that you can talk to. There has been a lot of Zoom meetings that have been going on. There've been a lot of Zoom prayers. There's been a lot of church online sessions going on. And I guess the most I would also say, there has been Beyond Blue. There is Lifeline, Beyond Blue services that are available. There is Red Cross. They have always been available. You can give them a call, and they've given a lot of help to international students. The education institutions themselves as well, you always start contact the student support. If you contact the student support, there is always going to be something. They'll point you towards some kind of help. And if you can't connect with the student support starting from your school, then go to the community level, whereby you will get in touch with someone who someone who knows somebody. At least be in touch with someone, keep tabs with somebody. And anybody out there listening, take a phone call and call a friend. And if you haven't talked to someone for a while, just take that phone and call them and ask them genuinely, how are you? Don't just look at their WhatsApp status and just pass by. They may be putting up a status, and you don't know. And another thing is the social media. When you're on social media, pick up the theme somebody is talking about. If you see there is a theme that is coming up and is consistent, don't just assume it. Pick up the phone and actually ask, do you want to talk? Is there something that you want to talk about, or how are you? Like, just start those conversations. That is going to help. And also engage in something that you like to do at home. Maybe start a hobby like coloring, singing. There's a lot within ourselves that we can do apart from just go and go and go. So do something that you like, and seek help.
So maybe just for you on a personal basis, what are you doing differently during this COVID? And especially for our viewers tonight, those who don't know, Betty is a nurse. She's practicing as a nurse. So maybe Betty, what have you been doing differently this year? With the lockdowns, you can't go anywhere. So maybe just tell us, what have you been doing with the current lockdowns?
Apart from eating and trying out new recipes, I've added 7 kilos
Wow.
since the lockdown. So that tells it all.
So I think we're gonna send a few shout outs to a few people. I can see the people who have connected tonight. And I'm just wanna be thankful to Jackie. Thank you, Jackie, so much. Jackie actually raised the point of I didn't have sound, also with the lines on my camera that is being worked on as we start off. This is the first live session, new software, everything. We're just getting to the next level. So next episode will be amazing because we're learning on the fly. I can see Pamela there saying hello to you, Betty. Pamela is saying hi, sis. I can see who else.
Hey,
Patrick
Pamela.
Gathu is there. Stephen Opisa, thank you, saying following. I can see Rob Camuren. Thank you so much, Rob Camuren. Francis Mambo, how are you doing tonight? Sasha, thank you, Sasha. Haron Kamau, thank you, Haron. Moses Msioka, thank you for joining. Thank you guys for tuning in and joining us tonight. And Betty, I just wanted to on the immigration, because that's where most people are actually wondering, and someone who's in Kenya, what is going on with the visas? Are people still applying for the visas? And what is the foreseeable future of maybe international students? Are they gonna come back to this beautiful country? And what are the processes that are there? Do you know anything that maybe you can tell our viewers tonight about maybe is international travel coming back and the international students coming back to Australia?
Okay, so yes, international students are definitely going to come back, and to be very honest, it's been New South Wales wanted to have tried to do this from last year December, and every time they want to do it, they get hit with an outbreak, and then they go into lockdown, and then that is shelved and it can't go through Parliament. There was trials of Northern Territory having a quarantine for students, and that was the government coming together with the education providers and trying to waive the quarantine. And New South Wales have strategies of already having the quarantine centers for students to enable them to come to Australia and waive the quarantine fee. So there's a lot of those conversations that started, and then we just got Delta, like as if the Alpha wasn't enough, and then we got the Delta virus and just threw us off again. So look, uh, at this stage, nobody knows like when what is going to happen, but for sure the international students are going to come back. The borders are going to open. As we all know, we are going through these vaccination campaigns, and just while we are there, as Pete says, I'm a nurse and still practicing. uh, I advocate for vaccination because that's the only way we're gonna kind of get back into movement again. Because when we have that immunity, then we can be safe. Then this COVID can just become hopefully like flu. So, discussion for another day. But yes, the borders are going to be open at some point. We are aiming the vaccination rate to go to 70%. I think that's what the government has said. Of course, it keeps changing every now. Don't quote me. But we are going to follow that, get the immunizations going, and then they're going to open the borders, and then the international students are going to come back. We are hungry. We are waiting. The education sector, we're just like ready to suck it in. So those who are looking to apply to come and study in Australia, this is the time to get ready. Don't wait for the borders to be open. The borders are going to be open. Of course, they're going to be open. So there's a lot of preparation. As I said in the other session, it takes at least 6 months to get ready. So get all your stuff ready, get your documentation ready, get the things that you need to do ready. Let's start getting the courses that you want to do. Those consultations needs to start happening now, and then when the borders open, then you're just ready to go. And those who have visas and are waiting to travel, just keep those suitcases ready. You're gonna hop on those planes soon, and we'll be looking forward to catching up. For sure,
Amazing.
the borders will open.
Amazing. Thank you for touching on that point where you actually touched on vaccination. I don't want to spoil the alert, but we're going to have a doctor live in the next few coming sessions, and we're going to talk about vaccination on another new level, just to understand what is this vaccine, what does it do, how so many things. So we'll have a doctor
I
coming
think we
up soon.
need
So
that.
if you'll have those questions, guys, just in the next two coming Saturdays, we'll have a doctor live, and we'll be asking all the questions that you can ask about the vaccine so that you can make an informed decision. So Betty, I just want you to take us on a break, and then after the break, we're going to have a Q&A. If you have questions out there, please write your questions on the comments down below, and we're going to try and answer a few of the questions before we wind up tonight. But before we do that, Betty, I want you to take us on a break, and then after the break, we go straight to our Q&A. Betty.
Thank you.
Is that it? We'll be right back, guys, after the break. Enjoy the break. Get a glass of water. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We are live, and we have another maybe half an hour to go. But after that, we are going to have a session of questions. We're just going to get some coffee, some sip of drink,
Some
and we
chai.
shall be
I'm
right
going to
back.
get chai. I'm going to get chai.
You're going to get chai. See you guys in a minute. Oh, hey you, yes you. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight for the live session. Please tell a friend to tell a friend. We are live on YouTube. This is just for you guys. The information that we're bringing out there is just for you. So tell someone to join us live. And if you have any question out there, do you have a question? There, comments, man. Send the comments. Let's hear the questions and we'll answer them after this break. So thank you so much for watching. We'll continue subscribing, liking, and sharing our stories. And we shall see you guys next week on the next live session. And over back to you at the studio. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. I'm just going to send a few shout outs tonight just for people showing the support. Thank you so much, guys, for the support. I can see Diana right there, Peter Washira, my friend, my man, right there. Clara Kimeto, Asante Sana, Engineer Stanley Kirwa, Asante Sana, and my beautiful my beautiful wife, where white, my Jesus, Cynthia Ruto, Asante Sana, she's my producer right there, giving me all the feedback. Claire Wanjao, Asante Sana for joining tonight. Dorothy, Asante Sana Doro. Anyway, I should not use house names live on Faith Mamboy, Asante Sana. Olive Ruto, thank you so much. Perita, Asante Sana for joining us. And if you're joining us tonight, I just want to have those questions. If you have those questions, guys, we're going straight to question and answer. So if you have any question for Betty, whether you're in the education sector, whether you are in you want to migrate, international student, or you're a student back in Kenya or wherever you're watching, if you have a question for Betty, this is your chance where we'll try and answer a few questions and then we're going to take it from there. I can see you, Terry, right there. Asante Sana, Terry. And I'm going over back to studio with Betty. Betty, thank you so much for joining us, Betty. Betty, I think we'll look if we have a few questions over there, but if there's no questions, Betty, what can we expect when travel returns, maybe for international students? Because before all this happened, there were, at least you told us on the previous video, you told us what are the requirements for international students to come into this country. So maybe, is there anything that has changed, and what do students need to know so that they can get prepared and get in early so that they can get ready when we return with all this, Betty?
So I think one thing that I would like to mention, or like to get people who are planning to come to Australia, is to choice of courses. I think after 2020, it's given us time to sit back, relax, and think and remap what we want to do again. So you may want to reconsider your professional career and consider which courses that you would like to do. Definitely, the visa conditions remain the same. You go to maintain, you have to remain enrolled. You have to work for, at the moment, students are working for 40 hours, not 20, because of lack of workforce. You go to have your health insurance. Even those who are here, you go to maintain your health insurance. Make sure you have that. Your financial capability you have to have the evidence of your financial capability to be able to finance the course. So those who are here and those who are overseas, those are some of the conditions that you need to meet. Please check your passport expiry for those who are here. Um, and those who are applying to come, definitely we go to do consultations. And as I said, choice of courses is going to be different. Of course, you want to do a course that is going to be more enriching to the community on the needs that are going to be there. And definitely going forward, a lot of things have changed from where we were. So the courses are going to be different, and there is a lot of opportunities in Australia in terms of healthcare. All the courses in healthcare, we need workforce. And in the coming years, Australia, we're gonna have a shortage of nurses. 100,000 shortage by 2025 and 123,000 by 2030, according to the latest research in 2021. So we need a we need people. We need people. That's what I could say. So get yourselves ready. Get your mindsets clear and prepared into what you want to do, and then embark onto that journey of wanting to achieve what you want. But we have opportunities, so get ready.
So maybe what are, because I remember when I think it was just recently there was an outbreak. I can talk about my country because when there was an outbreak in Kenya for, I think, cholera or polio, so they actually had to get vaccinated against polio. You had to get another, is it booster? It's called a booster, right?
Yes, yes,
So
yeah.
is that the same direction? Because I'm sure someone is trying to ask tonight, when I want to travel or I want to come and study overseas, do you think the vaccine will be coming into play that you have to be vaccinated against COVID for you to travel?
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. You can't hope. Everywhere in the world right now, they are trying to come up with the passport, the vaccination passport. I think Australia has gone ahead and taken that, and it is just at the stages of getting the contractor who will do that to get it ingrained into our travel passport. So um, definitely that is going to be a requirement. So if you're going to travel, you have to get your vaccination, get a true vaccination. Unajua mambo kwa ground ni tofauti, si ile ya kwenda kutafuta certificate. Make sure you get the real jab. It's for your own sake.
And then maybe what other industries do you think COVID COVID has actually made for the market to actually, bust out? Is there any industry that someone can be, either someone who's trying to come here can actually look at, or maybe someone who's here in Australia as well? What other industries do you think are actually booming at the moment?
IT.
IT,
So
yeah.
we go healthcare, the whole of healthcare and allied health is all. Those are all courses that are worth looking at and worth pursuing for those who are choosing what to do. Uh, Technology, definitely. Education technology, health technology is just gone like boom. Everything is virtual and face to face. So definitely we need people that are going to manage. Artificial intelligence is just gone pew, off the roof. So there is a lot of courses, cyber security for our banking and all those. Like those are there's just so much you can do. Like honestly, as I said in the other time, choices in Australia is a big problem. So you got to align it to your values. If you've matured to that level, get the values, get what you want to do, align it to your personal values, and then pursue. There is a lot to do.
So there's a question which has actually come in. I think I'll try and just read it as is. This is from Rob Cameron. Thank you so much, Rob Cameron, right there. He's saying we've heard that Qantas might resume international flights as soon as
Yeah.
December. Could this mean that international students might start coming in?
I've actually I read that as well, and they've said they're planning to resume in December. Look, being here, I know they're going to start with the permanent residents and citizens, and then definitely they'll get international students. So, look, I think it's going to be a blend of both because our educational institutions are really starving. This is going to be, I think they said it's a 16 or 21 billion business. The education sector, that is the amount of money that it brings into the economy. So definitely we're going to have, as soon as those borders are open, I'm not going to be definite and tell you, oh sure, this is going to be this is the international students are going to be among the first ones, but it's going to be, it's one of the pressing needs. That's why we need those borders open. Apart from reconnecting with families for those who have been away from each other for a while, it's also the education sector that apart from we're short for workforce, we also have the education sector that is, it's the one that is supporting this economy. So
Amazing. And
it will be
just a quick feedback.
just after.
Yeah, just a quick feedback from Stephen Opisa. Thank you, Stephen. He's saying, sure, technology is the future. Robotics, AI,
Yes.
cybersecurity, data
Yeah.
analytics, every aspect of the economy is geared towards gig economy. So maybe those who are trying to come and study in in
Yeah.
Australia, or maybe you're here, you may want to change.
Yeah,
Right
you
there,
can
you've heard
change.
from Stephen Opisa. Thank you so much, Stephen Opisa. Thank you, Daisy. Thank you, Pauline. Thank you for everybody who's tuned in tonight. And maybe before we wind up, and maybe if there's any question as we try and wind up, Betty, for skilled immigrants. So what does that look like in terms of COVID? Because COVID has hit. Is there, because I understand there's no migration coming in, but how does that look then in the near future? How does it look for skilled immigrants? I'm talking about maybe skilled nurses. I'm talking about skilled chef. I'm talking about anyone who has a skill that actually Australia need. How does that look like in the near future, Betty?
Um, Someone is asking me for the link to join, so I have to send it. Well, we are almost finishing. Sorry. Look, skilled migration, as you know, Australia has always had this had a skilled migrant list that is updated every year. So anyone who's skilled for I mean, the list is updated every year, so I don't know what is the latest one, and the list is so long, so I can't tell you all of it. But have a look at what has been taken off and what has been updated. But for those who are here and for those who are overseas, if your skill is on the skill migration list, definitely there are some skills that they put into priority, like the chefs, the healthcare. Right now they're in priority. I think they process the visas within 28 days, and they mean it. And some of those skill migration, they are sponsored by the state, and some others are independent. So if they're sponsored by the state as well, they process it very quickly. That is under 190. Some are regional, employer sponsored. They also process it very quickly because they normally lack those skills. So it's just keeping tabs on the latest information, and talking to professionals, for example, to migration agents, educational consultants. And also that, because most of the education anyway that is ramped for the international students is normally geared towards skill migration. We all know that, we said we are talking mambo kwa ground tunajua kwamba unakuja kusoma ndio upate permanent residence. Hivyo ndio vile inakuanga. So when you're choosing your course, unachagua ile course yenye unajua itakupatia papers, because you don't want to do that for after 3 years you've paid 60,000, alafu you have to go back to school again, or you don't know what you need to do, or you start taking other shortcuts, or whichever pathway. So it's good to make those informed decisions and find out exactly which way, how can I gear to what. If you're if you're doing your education, it's your passion, it's aligning to your permanent residence, and you want to make this country home, then definitely there's a long list for skilled migration, and you're welcome to do that. And I'm a skilled migrant myself, and I've seen a lot of people. Yes, there is a lot of opportunities for chefs, hata butcheries, hata kutengeneza wine, hata carpentry. Kazi iko hapa ni mob. Ukiangalia hiyo list utashangaa.
So
Kujeni.
what Betty is trying to say in another language or in another term is that things kwa ground ziko sawa. So for someone who's looking to migrate to come to Australia, things are ready for you. So wherever you are, just get ready. This country is waiting for you. So someone asked here. Let me just send a few shout outs there, people. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Thank you for the love, guys. Thank you for the love. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. So Justin Asante Sana. Sharon Mavis is asking how can people contact you. We're coming to that in a minute. Pamela Okundi says very, very good. Thank you so much, guys, for everything. Thank you for that. So Betty, you've actually touched on a very. We're gonna maybe try and wind up on that. You've touched on a very good topic. How can someone know that they're studying in the right field? Because you said everybody who comes here as a student is actually maybe trying to migrate and become a permanent residency or even move to become a citizen. So how can you make that decision before you even leave Kenya? So how can you be able to make that informed decision and what course you're going to study?
Um, hey, shout out to Pamela. Thanks for tuning in and keeping, and to the rest of the team. Some are asking how they find me. Sorry, Peter. I got distracted. I found that tab and I looked at it. Anyway, listen. Now, for when you're starting this journey and you want to come, mostly the most available visa for Australia is skilled migrants. So there's partner visa, skilled migrant, and student visa. Myself, I'm focused on student visa and skilled migration. So for those who want to if you're starting the journey from Kenya and you probably starting entry level, like diploma level, then what I do myself, I will give you the options. There's these courses, what do you want to do? And there is these courses, and this one will lead you to this one, and this one will lead you to this. So depending, some people say, mimi roho yangu, mimi being a nurse, I tell people, why don't you do nursing? Because I'm a nurse. So nitakwambia fanya nursing. Why? You get money, you get paid per hour, you get 6 weeks annual leave. There's jobs everywhere. You choose jobs. They sponsor you. Kenda Regional. They give you a lot of support. I'm telling you, there is a lot of opportunities. So, and it gives you a lot of flex. And that uko na financial security. So, most of the time I tell someone, why don't you do nursing and then you veer into something else? Another reason is you get the points. You get the skilled migration system is point-based system, so they will into your age, your English, your study in Australia, the course that you've done, so you get the points. So if you're starting the journey of coming to study in Australia, from you are like, what do I do? No, I don't want to go back home. No, I'm not ready. No, I wasn't ready by that time. So normally I'll tell you, if you do this course, this is what you end up with it. If you do this course, this is the pathway that you're gonna take. You can do this, there is always, you make the decisions, but you always know there is always there's gonna be outcome. So sometimes, as the education, so when you're going to ask whoever you go with, whether you're going to ask me, whether you're going to go to any other immigration agent, ask them, what are my pathways into getting permanent residence? If you're interested in staying in Australia, and this is what I say hapa kwa ground, hapa mi nasemanga, ukisha kuja hapa, usikuja hapa alafu baadaye useme mi narudi Kenya, mimi sitaki, narudi Kenya. Umekuja hapa, fungua barabara kwa watu na watu wa familia yako ama watoto wako. Siku ingine usifike alafu we urudi alafu tena ukuje utafutie watoto wako visa. Ukikuja, fungua njia ikuwe imefunguka nywe. But it's personal decision, but that is what I normally say. But I also see at the end of the people finishing courses, they are looking for visas. So let's get it clear from the word go. Make those consultations from the word go. You'll know which course you're gonna do.
Betty, I'm just having fun at the back of, because Betty is sending a very powerful message right there in Swahili. For those who are tuning in from maybe different countries, she's just saying, make an informed decision. When you decide to come and study, choose the right career, choose the right path. And you can actually get all that information from immigration agents like Betty, other immigration agents out there. So don't just jump something or start doing something just because for the heck of it. Just make an informed decision, and if you decide to come to this country, just follow through and until you get your permanent residency. Betty, we have a few questions right here. Wesley Ruto, asante sana, all the way from Kenya. My God, asante sana. That's powerful. Asante sana. Florence Gakinya, all the way from Kenya as well. Nashukuru sana. Tracy is asking, thank you, Betty. Do you do course advice? Do you advise people on courses and what they actually can get into and study? So maybe she'll need to get in touch with you, and maybe you can give career advice or whatever. Someone else as well, they saying, Perita is saying, yes, contacts, please. She wants your contacts right there. So we're gonna finish off and then we're gonna do our final remarks. But before we go, Betty, I want to ask a very simple question, Betty. In regards to mental health, what are you doing for you as a person? What are you doing to keep a good mental space? Because maybe what you're doing might help someone out there, because you've been in the journey, you've walked in this journey, and at the moment there's so many things going on with mental health, people having mental health breakdowns, so many things happening, and people are not coping well. So what have as Betty, what have you been doing to cope and get a good mental space as you progress in your career and your business?
So very good question, and thank you for touching that. Actually, I want to say, like, in this forum, we all know the battlefield of the mind. Like, the mind can play you up. Like, it will tell you every morning you wake up in a kwambia everything negative. The beginning of it all is to to renew your mind every day. Renew your mind, affirm, and live on the promises. I live on the promises of God. That is all. And I connect with my creator. I believe that I believe in what he says that I am. I guess that is just in short. When he says that I am blessed, then I know I'm gonna wake up today. I'm a blessed person. I'm gonna get what I want to do. I have to go to class. I've missed the train. I remember when I was a student, I've missed the train, and I'm like, I'm gonna be late, but I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get up. I'm still gonna go. Like even now, I've started the business during COVID, and I'm just like, it's difficult. The education sector has been hit. Like it's not like it's just available, but yes, I believe that I can do it, and so I just keep pressing every morning, just doing one thing and the other. Another thing, because of isolation and being alone most of the time, so I keep fit. I walk a lot. I walk every single day, a minimum of 5 kilometers. I'm always walking. I sing. I do have a bad voice, but I sing alone when I'm at home. I listen to motivational speakers. I also subscribe to Tony Robbins, for those who don't know Tony. So I listen to Tony Robbins a lot. He will be speaking in this house on the space. And also, maybe parting short, guys, during this COVID season, this is one thing I want to say, and this is I guess when anytime when I have a problem personally, this is what I know. Every adversity bring with it the seeds of equivalent advantage. So there is always something new that is going to come out of any problem. So in this COVID adversity, the world has changed so much, and we have even gotten to get into our personal selves. So have gratitude, be appreciative of the most basic things that you have with you. Sometimes I'm so glad that I'm not sick. I'm so glad that I can sleep, that I can fall asleep. I'm so glad that I can eat. I am so glad for the cup of tea. I love my cup of tea. So just having that gratitude and knowing that tomorrow is going to be different, as I always say, and believing in the promises. I mean, for those who are listening and maybe they are not Christians, always go into yourself. When you go into meditation, be quiet and listen to that inner voice. That inner voice is going to speak to you, and that is going to be the best. And if you're having if it's challenging mental health, just speak to somebody else. But yes, that's my belief. I believe in God, and so I know that I stand on the promises.
Thank you so much, Betty. And some few questions still coming up. I think we have a few more minutes. Rutos, thank you so much for joining us tonight. He's saying, good job. Please advise how master's students can change a course that leads to PR pathways. And also another question which is tied to that is Stephen Opisa saying, on the pathway to permanent residency, what advice would you give someone based on constant changes on immigration laws every year? You may have selected a course and PR rule changes, and then it rules you out. So we're gonna start with with the master's students who's trying to change his course to lead to PR, and then maybe the law has changed and you're kicked out. What advice do you have for these two? And as well, I want to say thank you to Beatrice Sigay, Pamela as well, Asante Sana, Sheila, Asante Sana, Sharon, again, there you are, and Sheila Koimer, Asante Sana. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for tonight. So maybe you're going to answer those two questions, and then we're going to hear how can people get in touch with Betty. But before that, maybe we answer those two questions, and then we go back to that.
So I'll start with the master students who are here. I don't know if they're here or they're planning to migrate. Okay, mambo kwa ground inakuanga hivi. Mara ingine we have to shelf those masters to be able to get people to a different masters yenye that will lead to permanent residence. And those are some of the, on a personal level, that is what I say, these are consultations that you will have on an individual basis. So it depends with an individual. But if you're already here and you're doing a master's and maybe you want to take another pathway, So also then you can it will involve changing institution, changing the courses depending on what you want to do, and some institutions may not take you because you want to change the course. So that's why when you're starting the journey in the beginning, it's good to do the consultation so that then we know the end point of it. Another one, which is and as much as we do the consultations, yes, the regulations in this country, they swing and swing and swing, they change in the middle of the day, and the rule is changed. So you can be caught in the middle, and I have seen very many people that have been caught in the middle. Look, in that scenario, I wouldn't tell you, like, if we gave you an advice of this course and then they have changed it at the end of it, of course it has happened. Look, I don't want to I don't believe in bad luck, but sometimes such things happen. There is always a way out. Some states, and the beauty about Australia, normally you can move states. So there are other things that we can do around that to probably change, or maybe have to enroll into another course, or especially if you are looking for PR pathways, or some people are going to other countries like Canada, UK for job opportunities, and then coming back as skilled migrants in the same thing, or changing states. Tasmania has been a very good state destination for Kenyan students at the moment, because they are taking most of the courses for 491. They're giving a lot of 491. So look, it is very personalized, but thank you for those questions. But there is always one thing, another thing I believe in: if there is a problem, there is an answer. So we can only look for it. It may be longer, it may take time, but there is always a way out. So, and another thing is, there are courses that are very swingy in the skill migration list. So you need to analyze the risk as well, and those are the informed choices that I'm talking about. It's good to have these informed choices. Unajua, ninaenda kusoma kwa sababu nataka kupata PR, tunafanya strategy mzuri tukianza.
Amazing, amazing. So I hope we've answered all your questions. And if you have any more questions, I think we leave the details for Betty, and you can always get in touch with Betty straight, and she's gonna answer all your questions. And tonight we just want to say very, very much. I appreciate everybody who's tuned in from all the way. I've seen some love from Kenya. I've seen some love from here. Some are interstate in Sydney. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in, and all my favorite people here in Melbourne. Thank you so much. We actually feel the love. And maybe, Betty, we're just gonna go straight to final remarks. Final remarks. Final remarks. There's one Sheila comment. She says also students should listen to the guidelines from immigration consultation and not hop from one course to another. So that's a point there from Sheila Koimet. Thank you so much. The comments are just coming in, and I see you guys. I see you guys.
You know what, Peter? What what Sheila is talking about?
Yeah.
We've seen this, especially the young ones.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I'm very old. People come, you get that visa, and then you start hopping from one coast to the other. Then it's hard to, we can't prove to the immigration that, or to the department, that you're a genuine student, because you haven't made up your mind. So you hop from this coast to and you waste time, you waste money, and no one trusts you because you are not consistent. You can change a course one to the other, but you can't just hopping from 1, 2, 3, 4. Definitely you are not going to convince anybody about that, and it's a big problem. Thank you for raising it, Sheila. We see that, and then it causes a lot of problem. And normally, but so someone comes at 20, they hop by 26, maji inaisha kwa kichwa, maneno ni blue, pesa, time. Ama mtu amekaribia 30. I'm not kidding you. Mtu amekaa hapa 9-7 years. Sasa hakuna hana qualification. Umekuwa hapa umefanya kazi, hakuna qualification, hakuna karatasi, hakuna history nzuri na immigration. Maneno inakuwa ngumu.
What? And then before we end up, someone is asking, when are the borders likely to open? Do you see any foreseeable time in the future, maybe for international students or even international travel?
We've been hoping. Hata me, I'm waiting to hop onto the first plane going to Kenya. We've just been hoping. We are sitting on hope. We are sitting on hope, but As they have said, Qantas are preparing for international. The airports are being prepared for opening. They have been doing it from when COVID started. What can we say, guys? We thought when we got rid of Alpha in Melbourne, we thought we can always get rid of COVID. We are dealing with Delta, and there is new variants that have come up in America. We don't know. We are just hoping, but I really don't know. Dan Andrews will tell us every morning we listen. We are hoping at a miracle answer. We are still in lockdown 6. We can only hope.
So maybe Betty, just some final remarks, and then we're gonna end up there, and maybe to tell us how someone can reach to Betty. So maybe Betty, just some final remarks from you, and then how can, if someone wants to ask any question, or how can people get in touch with Betty?
So I'm found on social media, Chepkoech Langat. I'm found on WhatsApp. I'm good with text. Um, I also have email that will be on the link, um, below. So get in touch with me. You can also go to our website, which is nomadity.com.au. You'll find us there and send your inquiries. I'm mostly available to chat to the Kenyan community in the evening. That's Australian time, and yeah, and on Facebook Messenger, of course, I get a lot of messages on there. Thank you.
So in terms of, education and immigration, any final remarks, maybe to tell someone out there, just something, just as we close and wind up, maybe if you have something tonight, Betty.
What can I say? I think my closing remark was every adversity brings with it the seed of equivalent advantage in any area. So those who want to migrate, despite the adversity that we are facing right now, there is still opportunities. For in the education sector, definitely, as I said, we are hungry in this country. We are waiting to open that sector up. And you know what? Mambo kwa ground iko hivi. Asia, China hawako marafiki na Australia. So wale wako Kenya, mnataka kukuja, tengeneza makaratasi. Kuna opportunity. Tunataka watu. So kujeni, karibuni. That's all I can
Amen.
say. Welcome to Australia for those who want to come and those who are in education, and even those who are here. If you're struggling and I've been getting a lot of contacts from the last video. Some people who want to change courses. Those who are here, they've been getting in touch. Yes, I'm always happy to chat. And find ways forward. Like, I may not have all the answers, but I can point you out because, as I said, I've been here for quite for quite a few years. Not that I'm old.
Hatutaenda hapo. But wacha nisikuze. So thank you so much, Betty, for informing us tonight and just trying to make us understand that things on the ground are a bit different. But even if they're different, there's advantages and there's many ways that you can actually make things happen. They say that when one door is closed, you can't cry on that door until it opens. You just try and go to the next door, it might be open for you. So
Try the
some
windows.
doors might be locked and some might be open. So it just depends with where you're looking and what you're looking for. So just keep knocking and trying on different doors until you get your door open. So tonight we're gonna leave you with very few remarks just to say thank you so much for watching wherever you've tuned in, whether in Kenya, those who have joined us from Kenya, Santeni Sana. Those who've joined us from all over Australia, we want to say thank you. And this is just the beginning of so many beautiful segments coming up. We have a few segments. I'm sure Betty knows what we're planning on the background. We have another amazing session that is coming up with a doctor who wants to discuss the vaccination and what is vaccination, what it all entails, and just to give you an informed perspective on vaccination and why you should get vaccinated. And it might be my opinion, but it's good for us to to do it so that we can actually open up and start enjoying the freedoms. I'm sure things will be a bit different, but at least we can have our movements, we can have our freedoms. You can go back to Kenya, you can visit your parents, you can visit that friend you're belonging to visit in a different state, whether in Adelaide, whether in Sydney, whether in Melbourne. You can actually move. But before we do that, we'll hear what the doctor has to say about the vaccination. And then right after this segment, we'll be having a segment with a student who will be coming up. We want to hear from a student who actually came. He came in right before the COVID hit, and things we want to hear how are things on the ground, because he's the one who actually felt all the changes, because he only arrived a day, I think a day or 2 days before the main lockdown, which happened last year in 2020. So we want to hear what changes happened and how he has been coping and all that. And also, we will also be touching base with an educator who's in the education department, no, education sector, who's, I can say a lecturer, but here we call them educators. We want to hear what are the differences and what is happening in the ground. And then after that, we'll have a few sessions to go. So don't give up on us yet. So many stories coming up, so many live shows aligned for you. And the beauty with these live shows, you can ask your question right there. I can see who's tuned in. I can see the people who are asking the questions. We can try and answer your question to the best of our ability. And if we can actually point you to the right person who can actually do that. Or you can even reach Betty or some of the people who I'll be bringing on the shows to actually give you more information on whatever we're doing. From us tonight, we just wanted to say thank you so much for tuning in, for the love, and for everything that you've done for us tonight, for tuning in and the support. I just, it's amazing, when people come together and support, one of their own or someone who's trying to bring in, we're trying to bring in, the information that can actually inspire someone out there, information that can inform you to make the right decision. So we just here to inform you and to do the best of our ability, and for you to show the support. It's really amazing. We really feel it as the Konekt family. Will continue to endeavor to bring you the best stories we can bring. Continue supporting our Wise Up Corner. The journey mapping series is coming back we're starting the shoot next month, and then November the shows start coming up. We have very great shows aligned for you, shows that will change, how you think, your perspective and everything. So we have a few things lined up for you, but this show will continue, will be coming to you live every Saturday, maybe apart from one Saturday of the month, but we'll be coming live on every Saturday, 7:30, just to inform you, to inspire, and to impact someone's life. So from us tonight on the Konekt, from my producers, from my editors, the team behind the scenes, you know yourselves, I just want to say thank you so much. It has been an amazing journey tonight, learning a new software, which is just amazing. We're just learning on the fly. We're doing everything as we go, but now we're getting where we need to be. And I want to say thank you for your patience. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Thank you for giving me that 1 hour, because I know time is money and time is precious. And I just want to say thank you so much for giving me your time. Betty, asante sana, Betty, for giving us your time all the time, Betty. Betty has been with us, just giving us the support and making things happen in the back end, and just being there as that big support. We just want to say thank you. As a Konekt family, we want to say thank you, Betty. May God bless you, and may you continue succeeding in everything that you do. And as we continue in this journey, we'll call upon you just to come and support us as we go, so that we can make this thing happen. And tunashukuru sana,
Always
Betty.
here.
Thank you,
Always
Betty.
here.
So
Thank
from
you,
us
guys.
tonight,
Enjoy the
from
rest
us
of the
tonight,
evening.
that's it. And I want to say, be safe out there, make an informed decision, and let's get the lives back. So if you want to get vaccinated, that's all good. If you don't want, it's up to you. But if you want life to go back to how it was, it's better you do the right thing, and we can move on with our lives. So tonight, we just want to say thank you. May God bless. And I shall see you guys on the next episode, which is coming next Saturday, live at 7:30. Thank you, guys.